live. Yeah. Strick City. Woo! Strick City. All over the world.
City, man, we live. Yo, Strick City on the ride. Yo, look like surprise. Yo, taking your city like we live. Yo, man, we live. Yo, taking your city like surprise. Yo, on the ride. Yo, Strick City coming live. Yo.
I'm going to ask one question. Like, really, I'm asking you one question. Good to see you, Dr. Elo. I'm going to ask one question. Why you tripping? I already shared the video. Why you not sharing it? It's really this simple. All you have to do is hit the share button. Now, if you're on YouTube, I just need you to hit the like button and the subscribe button. But all my Facebook folks, hit share and let everybody that you know watch the show with you. Like, we can have this whole collective of Strick City live watching, because today I got a real celeb in the building. You know what I'm saying? A real important guy. And I don't want you to miss it. I already shared it on my Strick City page. My DJ Strick fan page is already shared. Have you shared it? Like, I'm talking to you, man. Hit the share button and definitely lock in and get loaded to be a part of the show tonight. And we got some folks, man, that we're going to talk to. And I'm going to try my best to move this comment, Dr. Elo, out the way. Let me see if I can move it down. I got a couple of slides up above it. Oh, boy. Let me see if I can move this out of the way, because I want to be sure everybody can see what we're doing today, and that the comments, don't cover my face, man. Why do that? Hey, so if you don't know me, my name is DJ Strick, and I am a part of a group called Let's Get Live, and in that group, we are a bunch of content creators that are doing our very best job to help each other create content the best way that we can. And in creating that content, everybody gets better. We're there to kind of help each other along the way. If someone just needs a little bitty tip here and there, we kind of share that tip and we celebrate each other. So in the celebration, my guest today, he actually just hit 7,000 subscribers. And he wasn't even trying hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be crazy. My man, Chris, what's up, brother? Appreciate you hanging out with us tonight, man. I appreciate you sharing this, Dr. Elo. I need all of your people to know that we're on and that we're ready to go. And I can't miss out the youngster of the group, my man, Sammy. Sammy, thank you for being on with us tonight. And I got a special treat for you, I promise you, because we're not talking gear. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking tech. We're talking Doc Rock. He is a YouTube creator. He is also a tech guru, but the guy is a mastermind of all of Let's Get Live, the group that we have on Facebook, and it's going to be an awesome opportunity for me tonight to introduce him to you, and we can kind of talk a little bit about life, talk about what he's doing, and I want to hear the future for Doc Rock. We're going to get all into it, my man. Brett, you know what I'm saying? Brett, man, thank you for chiming in. I'm about to do it right now, so everybody, if you can, put your hands together for my dude, Mr. Doc Rock. What's up, Doc?
Aloha. How's it?
Man,
you say in Hawaii, hey, how's it, boy?
That's what's up, man. You know what? I've never been to Hawaii, but I definitely want to get there, brother. And hopefully we got some plans in place for all of us from the Let's Get Live crew to kind of get together so we can hang out after this COVID thing is over. You know what I'm saying? We want to be able to get together and not be 6 feet away from each other.
Right. It's kind of funny. I see every other man, like the whole family showing up. It's kind of dope. Even half that showed up. What's cool is Half Gens did a show today with David, and I was like, oh, if he's David's co-host, does that make him COVID?
COVID.
That was funny. Get it? Co-host to David. That was just good. The Fulgence has the most nicknames between him and Lola. They got about 80 apiece.
Now, Fulgence, I'm gonna pull him up again because he's definitely shouting you out, man. And he's watching on YouTube as well, man. So it's going crazy right now, the support we're getting, because I got, Doc, I would say that you came out of nowhere, but dude, you've been grinding for a really long time, giving people information from doing radio to doing YouTube creation stuff. And something happened in 2020 that it just kind of all exploded. Were you anticipating with the pandemic to be at a place where you are, where I guess your platform online has just exploded, where everybody is screaming, "This guy Doc Rock"?
No, and it's kind of a little bit mind blowing. I'm I'm working on becoming a better receiver and accepting it. Yeah, you're right. I've been grinding, man. I mean, I posted my first video to YouTube back in like 2007, a few months after it came out, and then locked myself out of the channel for a while. They wouldn't let me get it back, so I was aggro. So I ignored it for like a whole year just because I was mad that they wouldn't let me back in my channel. And then finally, like late 2008 or whatever, I decided, okay, I'm gonna just try again. And I just said, never mind, I'll just make a new channel. Like nobody really knows. Back then, it wasn't about counting subs or whatever. But I was just mad that I lost a movie that we made in college. And so I recreated the channel, but like at that time, there was no concept of like being in a niche or creating the same type of content. It was sort of random. I got a video, this is funny, or here's another video, this is funny. And I just wanted to make sure that I wouldn't post anything from like a movie or something, because I was already in radio, so I knew better.
Gotcha.
A lot of people, they don't know you can't, just like take a clip out of the middle of a football game and put it up. People do it. Those channels don't last very long.
Right.
I didn't get deep into the reaction channel, like saying, taking a clip from The Mandalorian and talking about, like, well, how do you feel this works with the Star Wars canon and the timeline? Mm-hmm. And again, like, I didn't think about that stuff. And nor do I think people, if you don't know, man, don't mess with Disney. They don't play.
Right.
Like
they don't play.
When they come to get you, they come in hard. Which was kind of funny. This is funny, Strick. One of my dad's like tightest homies back in the day was actually Roy Disney, who's no longer with us. So had I asked, hey, can I do that? He probably would have said, let me clear with some people. And yeah, but I didn't know. And we just never treated him like that. We worked really hard to just treat him like another dude. And we never treated him like, Roy Disney. He was just another. And that's why he loved our family so much, because we didn't treat him like weird. So when he came to Hawaii, he got to be around people that didn't care.
Gotcha.
And that's typical of Hawaii. For the most part, celebrities come here, they get to chillax, like, because most people won't bother them. The only people that bother them tend to be other tourists. Gotcha. Because people in Hawaii, they're like, oh, that brother didn't put his pants on one leg at a time like us, boo.
Hey, listen, that's kind of like being in Alabama, too. Like, if you're a celeb, you come to Alabama, we're not going to give you a hard time. Not at all. Like, come on, we'll feed you. We'll actually, if you're hungry, we'll definitely feed you. But we're not going to be all over you. Right. Yeah. So you talk about the beginning of YouTube. The beginning of YouTube, and you got 12-year-olds talking about new laptops they got. The content was really it was sparse. And
it was different. Yeah.
It was way different than it is now. And then years later, you have these YouTube millionaires. Like,
what's funny is when I was doing tech reviews back in the day, there was only basically 3 of us out there doing tech reviews that say matched my demo, right? That was myself, a dude named Soldier Knows Best, and another guy who's not doing it anymore. I don't even think Soldier does it anymore. And right about the time I was starting to get just like preoccupied doing other things, and I decided like, this is not going to work. Like nobody really like listens to tech review channels from, brothers or whatever. So I kind of like peeled out of it. And in that gap, I was gone for about a year. I came back and there was a little kid named Marquez Brownlee doing work. And I was like, man, this little kid's actually pretty good. And I'm like, you ding dong. I look at it now. I look at how big a creator he is now. I'm like, oh, you dummy. You stepped out right before tech YouTube blew up. But I got a sort of a better position at the time as a tech writer. So I was busy enjoying the fruits of, writing articles and having 50, 60,000 people read the articles, or having a server get taken down because I wrote an article, which was like, talking about some new monitor or whatever. So I was busy enjoying that without realizing what YouTube was becoming. And also at that time, YouTube and Viacom were in this heated battle over content and what's possible and what's not possible. And we really didn't think YouTube was going to survive. Again, like it was just a bad time. And it was super dumb to pull out. And that's when I went to Apple and they're like, you can't touch that. You cannot be an Apple employee and post on YouTube. So I had to peel out for years. And that was the worst part because that was when YouTube exploded, was during the time I was at Apple and I no longer could post videos.
Back in 2012, Doc, I actually had in the radio for my show I was doing at the radio station, I had a 3-camera switch going on as a recorded show. So I'm live with guests and playing music, but also had a guy switching webcams at the time. Now it looked like webcams, but still nobody was doing
Nobody
it.
was switching. Yeah.
Nobody
that was radio
was switching.
2012, 2013 radio shows live in the box at the same time as Morning Drive. There was 5 or 6 out there and they were just dope because I guess for me, I was interested in them because I knew what it was like to be in the box. But I think the general public was interested in them because they never get to see that. You know what I mean? So even in Ecamm group now, there's a guy you'll see. His name is William Van Osdal. We call him Billy V here. Billy's one of the biggest shows here in Hawaii now, a morning drive show. And yeah, Billy was one of the first guys that would just stream his entire morning show like into YouTube, and nobody was doing it. Wow. And yeah, it's amazing because it's so dope, right?
So now that I have Doc on and we can kind of talk about, tech or whatever, and we're talking about YouTube, just the platform and how it's going. My man Brett has, he actually said in the notes here, the comments, that he reapplied for LinkedIn Live today, which I think, and of course, all of us have listened to Gary Vee, but I really do think that LinkedIn has some growth that it hasn't hit its real wave yet. That if you go in and start putting content on and it gives you a little traction, that it may be a good look for you. Now, I don't want everybody to go to get it my way. I'm just giving you a tip. And that's just me. What do you think about it?
I think LinkedIn Live is in a very precarious situation. They do have the opportunity to be the next big one. Why? Because no matter what we say and do, YouTube is still primarily inundated by either news channels or gamers, like, gamer type stuff, a lot of music video type stuff, a lot of musician type stuff. So it's hard for, say, a channel like, yours or like mine to even really grow on YouTube regardless, right? That's not saying it's impossible. It's difficult. But I go into it knowing the difficulty. I go into it with clear conscience and I put in the work. So simple, right? LinkedIn has a better opportunity. It's like the difference between setting up your store in a mall versus setting up your store in the back alley. Like YouTube is more like back alley. LinkedIn Live is more like at the mall. The disadvantage of at the mall is you have 2 types of shoppers at the mall. Window shoppers who might get excited and actually buy what you're selling, or purpose shoppers. I'm going to the mall to get socks and drawers. I'm going to park. I'm going to go straight to Macy's. I'm going to pick up my BBDs. I'm going to pick up my Adidas socks. I'm going to get back in my whip and I'm ghost. Right. So because it's all B2B type folk there, you got a bunch of business people talking to other bunch of business people. So it's very concentrated. And that's the power of it, but that's also the curse of it. I don't think it will ever grow the way YouTube is growing. YouTube is starting to realize they need to start hiring content producers to make shows similar to Netflix. And what they should be doing is picking up on shows like yours or shows like Talib Kweli's. Instead of having Joe Rogan disappear and go to Spotify, YouTube should be buying shows like that and be like, these are our vodcasts. If Susan was smart, she would coin the vodcast movement and start catching creators doing interview shows like this and generate vodcasts and generate. I don't know why.
Hold on, Doc. When you say vodcast, that's a new term for me. Am I missing something?
I just made it up. I just made it up. It's a video. It's a video podcast.
No, podcast. I
you know what I'm saying? It. They should just coin that phrase and work with it. Like it's a video podcast. When the dope part about YouTube Live is, it's one thing to listen to Joe's podcast, right? It's another thing where you can interact with the cats. Like, Brant be like, hey, ask him this question. Okay. First hour, we're going to interview. Second hour, we're going to question and answer. Joe be going 3 hours. People tease Diana and Joe be going 3 hours all day.
And I agree with you. And sometimes it gets slow and sometimes he asks interesting questions. But think about it from a creator standpoint, with an interview style like me. I like the setup we have right now. You can see both of our faces. We don't have to be across the table from each other, but I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, and you're in Hawaii.
Yeah, Honolulu.
Like, this is incredible, like what we're able to do with technology right now. And you were right, Brett is trying to run my show. He said that he knew that Doc was, when he saw him on Twitter with Leo, that you were legit. So that's kind of, how long ago was that, to be honest with you?
I have been like one of the forum cats from the beginning, from way back when it was Call for Help, like even before he named it Twit. So I've known Leo from back then. I used to see him at Macworld. We would always catch a drink at Macworld, talk story, crack up, do pictures. So I've known Leo for a minute. Maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, they needed a sub for something, and they asked me to come on. And then this year, they had me on like 3-4 times just because Renee's been super busy.
Wow.
So, yeah, like I had actually been on Twit even before Renee before it once. And then I went there, went to studio. Like 2013, went to studio, sat down in the lobby and cracked jokes the whole time and had breakfast. So yeah, it's kind of cool.
So Doc, I said this to you as we were setting up the show, that I really want to get down into who Doc Rock is. I know a little bit about you because, of course, I've been consuming so much of your content on YouTube. So for everybody that don't know, I'm going to make sure I put the name up so you can see how it's spelled. But literally, it's just Doc Rock. If you can search him on YouTube, you can see his whole channel. Do me a favor and subscribe to his channel. And man, yes, some tech stuff. He's talking about cameras. But if you listen to some of the live streams, you're going to really get a clear mindset of a creator that wants people to create and wants people to do better. I had a chance, Doc, to listen to a video that you did. I actually watched a YouTube video from Hawaii. It was some civic video that you did. And you were talking about where home is. And if you can remember that video, I think maybe 2012 it was done or something like that. And I thought it was so intriguing. Like, from what I know about Doc, when we talk about tech, we talk about creating on YouTube, and then you had this explanation of where home is, and it was just so deep. And I want you kind of give an opportunity to hear you talk about pieces of that so people will understand, like, you're more than just this tech geek.
Yeah, one thing I think that people don't understand in general, or have a hard time wrapping their head around, as human beings, like, we're not dissimilar from dogs in the pack mentality. Like, everybody wants to feel like they belong somewhere. And I think people sort of get comfortable in claiming spaces or claiming domain, but it shouldn't really be about that.
Gotcha.
It should be about inviting others in, trying to just spread, like we talked about last night, we coined it instead of multi-level marketing, how about we work on multi-level giving?
That's right.
How about if I give you something, and then when you get a chance, you turn around and give it to somebody else. Long time ago, bro, the movie Pay It Forward, like, I think I've always known about that, but like seeing it incarnate in a movie, like explained out, I was like, oh, That's it.
It
That's
gave
me.
you a visual to the whole
It
concept.
gave me a visual to the concept. Like, I think I've always heard about it. You heard about it from church. You heard about it from the grandparents. You heard about it from other folks, but like seeing the movie, pay it forward, and then hearing people talk about it here and there. It's always giving me a thing, right? I always thought that's just the way to be. Like, if you have the opportunity to help someone out, like, you can grow somewhere, right? So I was lucky in coming to Hawaii and being accepted here and being able to treat this like a second home.
Because you're originally from New York, right?
New York and DC, yeah.
New York and DC.
So,
okay.
I went back and forth, between the rents, checking out various parts, and it's a thing. Like, up until I got here, I don't think I really felt or didn't understand what it meant to feel like to have your roots tied into a place.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because I was bouncing, right? When I came here and I was able to like dig them roots in the ground and be like, boom, this is the bomb, and then understand stuff. And I'm also different too. Like, as I traveled around the world, I wasn't just like going to stand there and absorb what they have and just, eat and be merry. I wanted to know the culture. Like, I wanted to understand, what is the culture here? I think a huge reason why I was able to pick up so much of the Japanese language in the year that I was there is because I wanted to know the culture part deeply, because if you know the culture, then the words are easier to understand, right? So even as a creator, right, just buying a bunch of cameras and learning how to use Final Cut don't make you a creator. You got to understand the culture of being a creator in order to be a good creator, right? It's why I'm always teaching mindset. Like, everybody can go out and just order a kit of gear off my page, just check all the boxes, bring that stuff to your house, set it up according to my videos, and you're kind of a creator, but you ain't. Not until you start living the life, You can go buy Scotty Camerons and Titleist and, Nike One golf equipment, everything, go out there and hit trees. That does not make you a golfer. Buying all of the kit don't make you a golfer. Buying a bunch of knives and pans don't make you a chef. You got to like get up. You got to go to the store. You got to stare at your vegetables like they mean something. Like, yeah, it's that thing, So like, I try to get people into the mindset of it as well.
Do you think that could be the great divide, or one of the great divides, mindset between the
hands down? And it's unfortunate because so many things, and I don't believe in conspiratorial situations. I think things just happen as the way they happen. But so many things are designed accidentally or on purpose to like take you off your game. I think in the process of selling stuff, corporations just keep selling and they don't realize the detriment it has to a mindset per se. I don't think there's some people sitting around like the Wizard of Oz going, oh, let's see how many people we can mess up. Now, they did it to us. That's a different story. But that came from that come from a mindset. Okay, wait, let me fix this.
Come on, Doc.
I have personally flipped a KKK person before.
Wow.
Because he just ain't know no better. That's what he was raised, taught, everything. Mid-40s, I was a little kid, my best friend's dad, and he started out with all of the generals, what you expected him to say and do. But then the more he got to know me and saw the effect that I had on his son, and then he eventually would like be nice to me. And then one day we was just out, and I was after a ball game or whatever. We're kicking it, we're all eating the buffet from the team. And then one of the other parents said something a little bit uncolorful. And he was like, hey, don't ever speak like that around him. Right. And he was like, what? You're going to, protect this so-and-so? And he was like, yeah, that's like my son. And I was like, wow, this is the same dude that used to call me hard ER, when I was a little kid. So again, not everybody is just like that because they're mean. Some folk, that's what they was taught. You know what I mean? Dude was from Greensboro, North Carolina, and that was the upbringing that he had in the 40s and 50s. So by the time we get around to the 80s, it was hard ingrained. He had never really been around. You know what I mean? If I go to middle country Idaho, where they're not used to seeing someone like me, and the lady grabs her purse and goes to the other side of the street because all the crap she's seen on TV, I don't blame her. That's not her fault.
Right.
That's somebody else that taught her that. You know what I mean? And so I think most of people's shortcomings are taught, whether they know it or not. Because if we took a room, right? Say we put in a bunch of babies from all over the world, like the United Nations, and we just put all the babies in the room. They would play together. They would hug and love up on each other.
About race.
You know, they would just share toys and whatever. No, nothing. They don't even know about fighting and taking toys until that gets taught.
Right.
It's just not. It's not the nature. You know what I mean? So, like, goldfish don't look at the funny goldfish and be like, "Oh, we hate Steve."
It's just right. That's true. Yeah. That's true. So let me ask you this question, Doc. You know, with your success, what would you say formed you into who you are? Like some of the, like whether it was your grandmother, whether it was your parents, whether it was the military, like what made you who you are in your past?
This is going to cause fights with people, but if it was up to me, every dude in the planet, and actually every person in United States of America, you would graduate high school and you would go 2 years of standard issue military service just so that you can learn leadership and teamwork. It had nothing to do with like pugilism or fighting or military or whatever. It has to do with when we walked in, the first thing they told us while you getting your head balded is like, listen, I know you came here and you from the block and you think you that hard gangster from the block. In this joint, you're green, right? And all you folks from down south that, you know, you be at Klan rallies or doing whatever, you better forget that today because y'all are green. Everybody in this joint is green. And we were like, what? You know, that was a weird conversation for a kid that, you know, I come from a pretty multicultural spot, but like for some of them kids, like from Kissimmee, Florida, they ain't never even seen an actual one of us in real life, you know? And then he was like, yo, everybody's here green. And the one thing that will get you worked up real tight is if you did or said something uncolorful like that or unteamwork oriented. Right. So in them 51 days, bro, they beat all of your bad learning out of you.
Man, that's cool.
And I think that helped out a lot. And then when I came here, I had the opportunity, the luck, I should say, of being adopted by a Korean family, hence my brother June. And so I had the benefit of growing up with a Black culture, a Latino culture, a Korean culture, then have traveling the world because of the Army, you know, had a little bit of Germany, had a little bit of Korea, had a little bit of Japan. Like, I think being worldly, like travel should be mandatory, man. People in this country think I'm a patriot, okay? And I love when somebody try to test me on my patriot. I'd be like, how many tours did you serve? They'd be like, what? And I'm like, all right, shut up, because I got the mental need to prove it. I think there's false patriotism. I think there's false labels that people try to measure things they shouldn't measure. Traveling the world made me appreciate what we have dope in our country, but it also made me understand how far we have to go. We're babies, bro. We're like 250 years old. Right. I'm in Japan standing in the building 3,000 years old.
Wow.
Wrap your head around that, right? That don't exist in America.
It doesn't. It doesn't. So when you left the military and then you went to Hawaii, was that like automatic?
The other way around. I came here first.
Okay.
Well, okay, so I did basic training in high school, and then I was on my way to go back to basic, right? Because it's a split program, right? It was called early entry back in the day. Gotcha. And then in my gap, I came here kind of as a vacation, just knew I loved it and knew as soon as I got out of basic, I was coming back. So while I was doing my tours and stuff, I put in for a request to transfer back here, and that's how I ended up back here.
Dude, I could only believe, like as a kid, military age, having to be in Hawaii or living there, you know, like it has to been a wild experience for you.
Oh, we won't talk about that. Yes, it was lovely. I learned a lot.
Right. You're able to set all of this wisdom and mindset into action, right?
Oh, it was fantastic, bro. I can't tell you. And again, Hawaii is a good place to be because we have 36 disparate cultures all mixed together in sort of a stew. We call it a calabash.
Okay.
And so you're always absorbing, like all day, every day you're absorbing. So like it's a shock to Lemuel and Rob that I know so much about Filipino culture, but that's because of Hawaii.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like Hawaii is mixed like that. One of our cats is Portuguese, and my boy Frank that comes on my stream all the time, he's Portuguese. I go, Frank, I know what you're talking about. He's like, how do you know that? And I'm like, bruh, because it's Hawaii. Hawaii is Portuguese and Japanese and Filipino and Korean and Vietnamese and Laotian, Cambodian. We got it all over here. You know what I mean? We got Indians, both red dot and feather. We got it all. So being like that, you learn a lot. And as long as you're open and caring about other people's culture, I think it just makes you a better person, because you can't look at them with a level of distaste. You know what I mean? It's impossible.
So when I had you come on today, and of course in some of my flyer and advertising, Doc, because I'm still trying my best to introduce you to people that may not know you, and even get down into some conversations that you just don't have an opportunity to have when you're talking about tech and cameras and all that kind of stuff. But I had your YouTuber, content creator, and tech guru. That is my description of Doc Rock. Would you say that that's right? Did I miss anything?
Well, now, because I had to niche my channel, I'm a hardcore foodie, big time traveler. But I think overall, if I had to give it just a simple definition, I'm a critical thinker. That's what gets me like born and raised curious. Like the curiosity is my thing, man. Like I'm so into that. Like I want to know why. So I got to dig deeper. And then I become slightly obsessed. so that would be it.
Critical thinker. I can add that to the list. Somebody put that in the comments for me. Doc is also a critical thinker, and we see that on your lives. Maybe that's part of why your lives are so engaging, because to me, it's like you turn on the lights, you turn on the camera, we're going to talk about this, and then you end up talking about 100 other things because of the vastness of your knowledge of all of this stuff. So do you feel more comfortable when you can just kind of freeform the content?
In a way, like I do want it to be tight. I want it to be sort of strict or whatever. But I think what happens is if somebody mentions something and I feel that it's been something that someone else has put in their head that's holding them back, I chive on that, because I think for a while that was me. I had all of these thoughts that other people put in my head that was holding me back. And then once I started to peel the onion and figure out like what's really popping, I was like, man, you know how many years was wasted because I let somebody else plant a foul seed in my head? Right. You know what I mean? And I think that's the reason why I'm so passionate about like unscrewing that, because we do it. We label stuff that don't need to be labeled. Right. Like it's just dumb. Look at how many people will sit there and have an argument and a fight with you over Xbox versus PlayStation. They're game systems, fam. Their entire communities dedicated to arguing red versus blue, Sony versus Microsoft, or in our case, Sony versus Canon, or Shure versus Sennheiser. None of that matters, man. Not a single bit of it matters.
Listen, my boys say that PS5 is glitchier. That's the word they use, glitchier.
And I guarantee you the same person that has a glitchy Xbox don't talk about it because they don't want to show that it's filing too. Like it's just a piece of hardware, and hardware gets better. It's updatable. It's firmware updatable.
That's true.
Like if it becomes a huge problem, Sony will take them all back and get you a new one. And they'll lie about it, but there'll be a class action suit, and then it'll get solved. But that's not going to start no one's heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? Not a single stitch of it will stop a heartbeat, but we get really twisted on stuff that don't matter and fervent about it, bro. Fervent. Like, and I think right now, even in this divisional climate, like people go out of their way to be divisive now. I get comments on my stream or on my posts, I'm talking about like uploading your photos to iCloud and moving them to another drive, and people want to come and talk about some Android stuff to try to generate fire. And I'm like, why? Why are you caustic? Like, what's the point in that?
Right.
I mean, did
Right.
you make $8 for doing that? If you made $8 for doing that, okay, I'm down. Because I never hate on anyone's bag. If you get in the bag, hey, you good.
Dude, so I definitely got to shout out your brother, June. And man, it's kind of like we get a 2-for-1, Doc. You know what I'm saying? In the community, because we get you and then we get June. June will come behind some of the things you do. Like he's hit me up a time or two to give me a pointer. And I'm like, knowing how he's connected to the group, man, I take it like this dude is giving me some advice that's going to help me take my stream to another level. And to have you in, and then to have June in, and everybody that's a part of the community that's helping, man, that's a huge, huge deal for a creator, especially for somebody like me. I take it as a great honor to be a part of a community that's willing to say, hey, if you move this just over just a little bit, man, it'll make your set look so much better. And sometimes it's a
That
small
was him
things.
today. He was just telling Rich today, "Hey, can you pull your volume of just a notch?" You know what I mean? But you know what's really cool, and maybe because I'm always clowning about it, I don't say it enough, bro. When I got my little brother June, bro, or he got his big brother Doc, bro, he changed my life. You know, this little kid that's roughly 8-9 years younger than me. We just got to talking, and because of his experience and his upbringing and just being of a whole different culture and helping me understand the cultural things, or helping me see the stuff that like us cocky Americans, like I had a person that is of two cultures help me understand what is the crazy stuff that we cocky Americans do, and like calm me down a lot, made me be more insightful. Pretty much everything I know about audio, video, tech, like all of that stuff, like I was a fan of it, but a student of it, I got that from June and my pops.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like in our electronic store, like mom and dad ran an electronic store, June and I were employees.
That's funny.
And then, but like the eye for detail, the eye for design, like this dude would set up the speakers, right? And he would just like boom, 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 put everything on the shelf. He'll step back and he'll walk away. Like, when Kobe hit that 3 and he just walk away because he knows it's good before it goes in. Like June would walk away and I'd be like, man, you joking. So I grabbed the tape measure and I go over there and I check, and like every time. So like I used to follow him with a tape measure just to check to see if it was centered. And he was just like that. Like he was some little weird random Jedi, like over attentive. And I learned to be a little bit more attentive from him, or just calm me. I was a wild child. Like, he kind of helped me calm some of that mess down. So, I mean, honestly, like they changed my life, dude. I probably would have been in jail. No doubt.
Wow. Listen, content creator, YouTuber, this is Doc Rock that I'm with right now, guys. This is an incredible opportunity for me to kind of go 101 with Doc. We get a chance to do streams together, and most of the times, Doc, is us and 3 or 4 other people, and we're talking about tech. It is just kind of hard doing the one-on-one and asking the real questions, especially because I really want to know the mindset and talk about some of the things that you've been thinking about, because that helps me understand, and I think it's also ways that the audience can connect with you. Like, this is a real guy, and he's putting in real time to be where he is right now. I said earlier that, man, with ease, you're knocking down 7,000 subscribers, not even like working hard. How does your momentum that you've seen in the last 2-3 months, how does that feel for you?
Bro, it's like Tinkerbell with laughing kids. I'm not joking. Like, it's such a rush. I go to sleep at night and then I'm always telling Karen, I was like, man, I can't believe this ride. Like, it's in the last couple of months, it's just exploding. And I guess it's anchoring because I've been at this for a long time, and at one point, or not one point, at like many points thought about giving up, but it's not really in my steez to give up kind of thing. So when I decided to go all back in, it was just like, combination of timing plus experience plus understanding the mistakes and like not live in them, but take what you can from them and try not to repeat them. I think a lot of people don't do that. They take the mistakes and they just beat themselves up. Like, yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, honestly, that's it. And I just knew that when I came back in, what I was going to do to change the game that's different from what a lot of cats that are doing what I'm doing are doing, I was just going to go give away it all. And
Man, that's
then
cool.
and hope that through giving it away, like I would look up and get it back.
So my journey to find Doc Rock, I want to talk about that for a few minutes. The first video I ever seen from you, or one that really caught my eye, and it had to been recommended, like it was a recommended video. Maybe I saw something about tech in a phone and then I saw another video, but this resonated when you were telling, you were talking to a guy in the studio with you and y'all were writing out notebooks. So you were saying, hey, man, I got this notebook. And, ever since I was been in the military,
Man,
we just had these
old
notebooks.
Podcast. Wow. Wow. That's a super old podcast, fam.
So what happened is I want to write a book. Like, I want to write a book. And I was trying to figure out all. So that content resonated with me. Like, if I want to write a book, I just had this notepad. You just get out and write as you can. Like, how long ago was that? And why do you remember, like, why y'all were talking about that?
I wanted to write a book. I want to say that was around about 2013, maybe 2012, 2013. And we were gearing up for NaNoWriMo. My buddy Phil and I wanted to write a book. We used to have this like just these every Sunday. Dude, that was live stream back on Ustream, Justin TV, through Boinks back in the day. That's how long
for real?
That was. Yeah, that was live. That was a live show that we used to do every Sunday. I did 2 shows back to back. I did a show where I would teach sake, teach people about what sake is and stop calling it sake. Teach
it's
them
not
about
sake?
No, it's sake.
Okay, I got
like
you.
K-A-Y. K-A-Y is I'm sorry. Anyway, I used to say that back then. So yeah, we were teaching people that, and because I was just something that I was so in love with after coming back from Japan. And then I got on this journaling mission, and I was like, man, journaling is dope, man. It's a good way when you're a all over the map, like ADD type person, you can just get all of this stuff out of your head, and then there's more space for new stuff. So I started journaling. I was like absorbing a lot of books at the time, and journaling was just cool. So yeah, that's what did it, man. Honestly, it was funny that you seen that because that was mad old. I had a whole WordPress site in my Skine, and still a big time Moleskine collector now. But my favorite notebook now is a Rocket book.
So the reason why I say that, in the conversation you guys were having, I guess, 2 old guys like to sit down and write. You like this old school notebook and write, new technology. People will put notes in their phones and do voice recorders. But like, hey, if you want to write, just take out this notebook. And that's literally what you said. If you want to write, just take out this notebook. So then, and what was that? It was Mr. Camera Junkie. He's like, I found Doc Rock on live stream December 3rd, 2020. So he's a newbie to Doc Rock. So Mr. Camera Junkie, I'm gonna tell you now, you got to go through the archives. Like, if you really want to know Doc, you got to go through some of those old videos. Start with 2007 and just go all the way up. So it was the video you did on keynotes. I don't know if you remember that. And then there was a video you did on, I think it was microphones. It was before you got the Rode. So I remember you get the Rode, but there was a microphone before that you did a review on. Was it that one?
Yeah, I had to bust it out today because the Rodecaster Pro was being goofy. So it's the Samson Q2U, or AKA ATR 2100. It's the exact same microphone. Shigo.
That's crazy, man. So you were talking tech there was, of course, I got to shout out Diana Gladney. She talked about Ecamm. Pat Flynn had a video on Ecamm. The guy that I watched more than anybody else was the Australian. I think it's Justin. Man, I want to say Brown.
Yeah. It is Justin Brown. The Primal Video.
Like I watched it over and over again. And he's like, there's top five videos you can use, and then he'll go down the list. And he said, well, I really like Ecamm. So I was like, okay. He said, I really like Ecamm for Macs. If you're a Mac user, Ecamm is the program for you. Number 4. Like he would go down this list. I loved
Justin is good. Justin is good. I love his flow.
Definitely has a great flow, great videos, but he was very helpful. Like, videos on how to do, if you want to record on your phone, what's my setup look like for my phone, all that kind of stuff he did. But Doc Rock also did an Ecamm video as well. And I'm saying that to say is that you caught me. So if we got content creators that are watching, I talked enough about Doc Rock. So as far as his past, how he is, who he is. So I need everybody to come along on this path with me, because once you find somebody that you can identify with, that you resonate with, that you feel like, hey, I can build community with, it is different. Like you're listening to everything they say. There were other people doing keynote stuff. There were other people, again, doing Ecamm stuff. But when Doc came in and said, hey, this is how Ecamm works, guess what? I'm listening to what you say. And then your ability to train like step 1, step 2, step 3. And so I'm not watching the videos over and over again because I got it in the first round, because I was able to go through the steps with you. Do you feel like that's how you're gaining momentum now? Like people are just resonating with you and willing to ride with your stories and willing to say, hey, this microphone was built this way, it's built just like a BMW. And you go down talking about how BMWs are built, and people learn more about tech and all things world while they actually listen to you explain some type of new technology.
I think it's twofold, right? I think part of it is I speak in analogies and metaphors, so I think I try to make it easier for people to understand, because people have been told that it's tech, so therefore I don't understand it, and I hate that. Like it really, really like grinds my teeth with sandpaper. I'm like, nobody was born a techie. Like it's just an executive decision one day that I'm gonna figure this mess out. Like it's no different to anything else that person's in love with. I love my friends that will sit there and tell me that they're not a techie and they can't figure out something as simple as Ecamm, right?
Right.
But yet they know the ERA of every pitcher in the major league, everyone. And I'm like, yo, so what was his ERA like 2 months ago? Oh, he was sitting at a like 1.5.3. But after he started finding his groove, like he's up to a 3.4 and blah, blah. I was like, oh, so you can understand that, but you can't figure out the difference between the camera overlay and the JPEG overlay?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just whack stuff. Again, somebody else done told you. So right. I try to put it, in a manner that folks can understand. That's why I always have these weird analogies and people crack up about them, but it's not funny to me. I think I'm just trying to explain it to you in caveman, so that way you can just ugh and then zug and then you got it. Okay, now I got it. And the other thing, though, is some people don't like that. Some people get irritated at that, and that's cool. That's why we have so many different creators teaching the same stuff, because back in algebra, I did not vibrate with Miss Rosen. Like she couldn't explain it to me. Right. And then, when I had to take that class again after several whoopings from mom, and I got Mr. Gardner explained it different.
And you were able to get it.
And I was able to get it. And he was from Alabama. He had a hardcore country accent. I think it made you listen harder. You know what I mean? You're in the middle of the city. Everybody else sounds like, you got to get the kite and the water and stuff. And all of a sudden, here comes this dude with this thick Southern accent teaching you about the isosceles angle. What you need to do is understand these isosceles angles. And we was like mesmerized. It was like, and then I understood and I got it. And then boom, cream of the crop, killing class. So I don't think this is why I tell people it's nothing saturated, bro. Someone's going to find your vibe. Someone's going to find your energy, and they're going to be about you.
Right.
You could have gone through You know those dumb fights about was the old movie better than the new movie, but it's the same movie rehashed? The reason why people get it in the newer version is it's a different actor.
It's just
Like,
different.
how many copies of Romeo and Juliet exist in the movies, bro? There's a good 100 of them.
Right.
There's 100 of them. You know which one vibrates with me? Ralph Fiennes' version, Shakespeare in Love, and John Leguizamo, the one that everybody hates, Claire Danes and John Leguizamo, because it was extremely New York. Right?
I hadn't seen any one of them, so you got me on that.
You have. You've seen. There's so many movies that don't even be Romeo and Juliet, but they're the same story.
Same story. I get
it. There's only a couple of common tragedies, right? Fish out of water, two opposite sides kind of stuff. Story's been told a million times. And there's only a handful of story arcs. Actually, what is one of the more modern ones? Oh, the Aaliyah version with Jackie Chan.
There you go. There you go.
Same smell, bro. Same smell.
So let me do this, Doc, because this is one thing that I've learned from you, but my style is so different. It's hard to get the concept. And the concept is speaking, like if you're live, speaking to your live audience makes the difference. Because I don't want Tommy to have left not knowing that Doc has seen his comment, that he knows about the Mac Mini, and that whether you're sending it back to get the 16. I know we're not talking about tech, but that's an easy one. I got to shout out my man from Birmingham, Tommy, as well. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
So yes, because it's a smart move, but no, not because of limitations. It just makes it easier to sell.
Gotcha. There you go.
That's the only reason why. It's not a limitation. I've yet to hey, dude, you're running out of memory. That hasn't happened yet.
And definitely big shouts out to the Nixon, man, Andrew Nixon, their part. Like, Doc, man, I apologize. I don't have any merch on tonight, man. I got to get some live merch, man. There you go. Who else we got there? Man, my girls have chimed in. Peace be unto everybody. I absolutely love the Be Love Inc. girls and Shantae and Shantavia. Big shouts out to y'all. And of course, Mr. Camera Junkie has already chimed in as well. So definitely shouts out to you, Tommy. Let me just put it out. We got to get together, Tommy. I want to have you on my show, Tommy, so you can do a magic trick for everybody. Like,
man, he is so good. It blows my mind. Like, Tommy is so good. It's funny. Like, I'm keeping my watch in my pocket if I see Tommy in real life.
You might want to hold on to your wallet. That's let him have the watch.
He could be like, "Oh, did you see these? By the way, here's your cards.
Right?
Well, how'd you get that?"
Right. So,
man, he is so incredible.
Let me ask you this question, Doc. What, like, in the grand scheme of things, what's next for you, sir? Like, what do you see around the horizon for Doc Rock?
I have a crazy mission, and that mission is to seriously touch the lives or impact 1 billion folks. And so the only way for me to do that is keep leveling folks up 100 at a time, 100 at a time, 100 at a time, right? When the Let's Get Live group is 100,000 deep of people out there giving, then we're touching about 100 million. You know what I mean? And then if that group grows, then we'll eventually get to 1 billion. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't even have a plan yet, but somehow, some way, we fixing to make a whole bunch of folks' lives better in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just a laugh. Something as simple as watch. I shouldn't say simple. That's dismissive. Something as seemingly simple as one of Tommy's magic tricks. If I could turn around in that same moment and show that to 10 million people, you done cheered them up. Right. So I was I've always been this weird believer in, and I guess it goes all the way back to when we talked about pay it forward. When you get your coffee with the barista, I always say something wild to them. Right. I always say something wild to them that's just going to crack them up or smile or whatever, because the 8 customers before then, it's hurry up, I'm late. Hurry up. It's not that person's fault they late. Your ass should have got up early.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But
right.
if I see someone snapping at an attendant or whatever, I try to go out of my way to be nice to them right after. Right. when we travel, I'll carry around stickers that say aloha and little pieces of chocolate macadamia nut candy. And we'll go to some place, we're in the middle of Japan in the country. These people barely know where Hawaii is on the map other than dreaming about it or seeing an Elvis movie. And then you hand them a sticker that says aloha or a little piece of chocolate, and you can just see their face glow. Like, I get off on stuff like that.
Man,
you know what I
cool.
mean?
That's cool.
I absolutely just love that kind of stuff, right? So that person now is going to go to the next 5, 6, 7 people and be extra nice to them because they're a jovial spot. Right. Until the next person comes around and unnecessarily throws some salt in their lemonade. Right? And then it waits for another person to come and fix it. So, like they say, it's easy. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. So
that's true.
Just try to smile. Just try to add something.
So let me ask you this question to kind of formulate that, Doctor. Just put some form around people giving. Is there one or two things, just to make it simple, that you would say, hey, for the people that are connected to me, if you could do this thing and this thing, that'll make a difference to so many other folks?
If you say somebody who's like maybe talented, untouched, diamond in the rough, needs to find a way to get their story out, but they don't know how, I would say bring them in. Bring them in, because between people like yourself, myself, Kirk, Pastor Keith, Diana, India, Lim, like even Little Sammy, David Blackman, we have so many heavy hitters. Kelly, like we have so many heavy hitters that if those guys were to come in our group and see the possibilities just echoing what's around us, see the energy that is the twins or Glola, or Michelle, for whatever, I think they will understand that, this is not as painful, as hard as can be. Look, there's myriad people from various different backgrounds and very cheerful, I think it will help them get the story out. And then there's so many people that have fantastic stories that need to be told. And they maybe just think that they can't tell it because they think there's somebody else that's better than them or whatever. Hey, we all suck, but we're gonna enjoy it together. You know what I mean? We're gonna tell our stories while we're learning. None of us are like, Oprah, but we don't have to be. That doesn't mean your story shouldn't be told just because you're not Oprah.
Right. I was because of the community we were in, I was recently around some people that were doing some recording and just asking simple questions, not getting in the way, Doc, not to get, because it wasn't my recording. It was somebody else's video recording. And just because of this group, I have information that I guess is not everyday information about how to do video. And it encouraged me, but I also think this group helped me to be quiet at the same time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
To not be like, hey, you should do A, B, C, D. Yeah, I know, you're at this shoot, but you really need to be doing this. I knew some things that could help them out, but I also knew how it was their shoot, their equipment, their time. Let me zip it up. They're getting paid for this. And if the customer is cool with it, guess what? I'm cool with it. And that's what I've learned, because I guess we have outlets to talk to each other and outlets to help people. I want to help folks that want to be helped. Does that make sense?
Correct. 100%. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how to write this in my site, course description, and all of that. If you want to just come and turn on the camera and talk to it, don't come to my group. I'm not going to let you do that. This is not how it works.
Right.
Like, we want the folk that really want to do this. Like, I want to move mountains. I want to have a certain type of look and feel and appeal and whatever. Right. So it's like, and I don't mean this in a bad way. Like, if you're the person that could just love the little coffee where you rip the thing and pour it in, add some hot water and boom, coffee, stay over there. Right? Because I'm with Keith. I'm with grind that joint, heat up the cup in the microwave, put the pour over thing on top, measure out the exact amount, pour in water up to about 50 grams first to let it aerate and oxygenate and get all good, and then pour in the other 360 grams exactly to get that cup of coffee. That's me. That's the coffee drinkers I'm looking for. And it's not to be bougie. It's a level of care and quality that I think makes it easier for you to get your story out and be believable and passable and accepted and all of the above. So that's what that's the group that I want around me. And you don't have to be perfect. Again, we're not trying to be Oprah per se, but I'm just not let's just kind of sort of do it and call it done.
Right.
Like, I'm not that way. My dad's not that way. My brother's not that way. Karen's not that way. Like, most of the people around me aren't that way, except for my best friend Lanai, and we fight about it always because I'm like, dude, you got to stop it with the C student stuff. You got to strive for excellence, bro.
Hey,
even if you can't reach it, you got to try.
Can I give you something hot off the press, Doc? Like,
yes,
as you were talking about what we were looking for, like, we don't want people to just want to turn on the camera. I got an idea in that moment. Like, we just finished Vlogmas, you know, coming out of 2020 and went 2021, and we're still trying to figure out, like, how we continue to do some content. I think it would be a great idea for us to do a talent search, a creator talent search inside the LGL group where people can actually submit their videos, and we're trying to find the people with the most talent. Maybe we could do the top 5, and then from the top 5 they go, or top 10, and then they go another round, create something else, and then we get down to the top 5, and then the top 5 create something else till we get down to the top 3, or, you know, 1, 2, 3 get prizes. And we come up with those prizes are including, you know, let's get live merch or something else that we could do to kind of really give some incentives. And, you know, we have a group of people that are energized, but how do we reach all of the people? You know, I think last week, or did you just post we had 30 new people join a group or something like that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, how do we get those people engaged in what we're doing? We're not doing Vlogmas, so now we're saying, hey, we're looking for the top creators or the most creative creators. What do you think?
I think we're getting there because we are still on the glow up mission. We're at 326 right now and growing. I think the more conversations that I'm having in Clubhouse, finding some tribe there, people that are about that life, people that get it when they hear me in Clubhouse say you're not making content for you.
Right.
No matter what you tell yourself, you're making content for your viewers, and you need to be of service like that. I think the people that hear that in Clubhouse and get it, and then they want to join, that's dope. I think as we share it in our groups, and I invite everybody who's in there, invite somebody, like, somebody that needs a story to tell it. Like, I see us at like 500 or so by like Easter, and I see us finishing our Christmas at like 1,000 or so, maybe more, who knows.
Wow.
But I definitely see it because we are teaching we're teaching something that people really want, whether they know it or not.
Gotcha.
I think we are. I don't know how to describe that, but I think we are. And again, I don't think it's just me. Like, I have a fantastic cadre of folks out there doing it with me. You know what I mean? Yourself and Brandon, Fulgence, and Lola, and again, Lemuel and Alicio and Marshall now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yeah, it's just we
gotta find that talent though. I don't know. I've been saying this for a couple of weeks. I've been saying it for like since Dan and Shelly's show. Like,
yeah,
you gotta have. So when you worked at Apple, in your mind, you were selling the best product on the market. And I'm putting words in your mouth, but I'm sure you were an Apple guy, right? You felt like this was
100%.
Right.
I was a repair tech, but yeah, 100%. And even then, it's really though, it was never about the product though, right? We were about solving a problem. You know what I mean? And that's been one of the anchors of our group. It's not about a product. We're solving folks' problem, bro. You came in like, I got this thing I want to do. I know where I want to go. I know, man, like I know the twins are just waiting to be on like some show somewhere, running a fantastic show on some network where they got all kinds of people energized and doing their thing. That like they got an it factor, you know. Young Jedi, he got an it factor. I don't know what it is, but he got an it factor that, you know, I like to coin the phrase, he's adorkable. You know what I mean? He's 100% dork, but you just love him to death, right? He's adorkable, right? I think it's in there, bro. We got it.
I just feel that it is. My man Tommy chimed in saying having a competition may be discouraging to newbies, but I just feel like I'm a salesperson. Like part of what I have done in the past is sell, and you got to have a great product, and you also have to have success stories. Like these are people that are in our group and knowing who they are and being able to say, these are our successes. Like this person heard one thing, changed their whole setup, and boom, look at this. Now, we already have identified, like you mentioned the twins, absolutely love the Be Love Inc. twins, but there's several people in our group that they just stand apart. You know, there's nothing you can say about it. They are just standing apart. So
I'm sorry, I was laughing at Brant's comment.
What did he say?
He said he's gonna run silent and deep like a submarine until his next show. Stay tuned. He's Navy. What can you say? I love Brant. Brant is my dude, man. I love that dude so much.
That's what's up, man. He yeah, dude. I like Brett too, man.
You know what's gonna be the win for me, Strick, is when I look up one day and I see one of the people that came out of our original squad, you know, pushing like 200,000-300,000 subs and killing the show, and they standing up on stage somewhere speaking about it, talking about how they got their start in our camp. Like, I would love to become an agency for creators, you know, similar to like a marketing agency, I guess, where you can sort of like help young creators come up. Like we go out hunting for that young talent and then like put them on and help them out. And, you know, like you and I will always be able to teach people how to do voice and stuff on camera. You and I will be able to teach mic technique, right? Keith would always be able to teach EQ curves and compression and all of that stuff, even basic music, even if you're not trying to create the music, to understand the music so that you can create vibe with the beats. You know what I mean? Because that's where he comes from, right?
Right.
Len will always be able to teach like photography or the stuff, your lighting, you know, getting that look and using that lighting to emote emotion. Like him and Half had a really great show today in the Ecamm community discussing lighting and like how you're not really controlling lighting, you're actually controlling shadows. Like I don't think most people get that because emotions are in shadows. When you start studying movies or watching movies, and you see what they do with shadows to change the emotion to tell the story, then it's a light bulb moment, no pun intended.
Right.
But it just is, right? When you start studying YouTube and seeing what the greats are actually doing, you get it. Now, I can't get behind clickbait titles yet, and everybody says get over that, but I just can't do it. Like, I do not want to open white bread, and then there's that whole grain like vegan stuff in it. That would just irritate me. I'm trying
Doc,
to make me
you say that, but you just recommended to Philip the other day that he needed to be a little bit more. He need to switch like from a positive message for Clubhouse. Remember you gave him the information about hey,
that's not clickbaity though. Clickbaity is a little bit different. Like people are triggered by that negativity. But that's different from a clickbait message when it's completely something different. Like, okay, I mentioned this before in one of the streams and it drove me batty because I was deeply concerned for the brother. Like, I've been watching Casey before he was even on YouTube. You don't know it, but Casey had a show on HBO before YouTube had ever seen the Neistat brothers, right? So I knew who Casey was a long time ago. I knew he was a New York Times writer and all of that when everybody thought he's just some random blogger on YouTube. So I saw a couple of videos in a straight line, right? And it's like, oh, trouble in the Neistat house. She wants to go. And then the next video said, and this is why she's leaving me. And I saw all of those videos in a straight line on the shelf. That's what they call it in YouTube. And my first thing was like, yo, dang, what's going on? Like, why is his wife trying to get out? The first video was about trying to plan something for his father-in-law's birthday during the pandemic, with the father-in-law being the OG. And I'm like, okay, that wasn't what you made me think, right? The second one was about a girl not really liking where they were, but needing to get back to the city because she had something to do, but like still kind of come to a conclusion as to what they were fitting to do. Right. And then the third one was about her packing because she had to go back for work.
Wow.
I'm like, come on, dude. People care about you because you all got everybody watching your everyday life, and to make titles like your wife is going to leave you kind of thing, I don't know, bro. That's disingenuous, because it actually made me, as a human being, feel concerned for the brother for a second. Turned out he was just making sensational titles, and I don't like that. I haven't watched a single video since I saw those three.
I agree with that.
That's different, bro. That's different.
That's way different. That's way different. And can I have another Doc Rock moment really, really quick? Because, again, you taught me this. I probably had to find ways in our conversation to kind of stop and go to the comments, because Kimbella is in the building tonight. You know, I got to shout her out because she's definitely another one of those shining stars to our whole group in what she's doing with her Japanese fashion. Like, who does that? Like, that's really cool. You know, she's been talking to B Love. I think, Keith is in the comments tonight. My man Keith, big shouts out to him. You know, we have some very unique people, Doc, in our community. And if you hadn't, this is for everybody. If y'all hadn't had a conversation with Keith, he is so open to talk. He's always saying, hey, come on to my live. Y'all hit Keith up, man. He's good. I've done like 3 or 4 live, well, more than 3 or 4, but personally, me and him going on about 2 or 3 lives together, and he's really, really cool. Who else was in here that I miss? I want to be sure I got everybody. David Stevens, shouting out Doc Rock. He loves it. He loves it. He loves it. Appreciate you, David.
Thank you.
And every time I have a Doc Rock moment, I grab my Doc wallet. That's funny.
It's not funny, Dave. That's not funny. Yeah, you're blaming me for spending money.
And I got to shout out my man, Noble Bowman. What's up, Noble? Thank you for hanging out with us tonight, man. I'm talking about some good people hanging out with us tonight. We're not talking tech. We're talking mindset tonight with Doc Rock. And it's been a great opportunity to connect with him in ways that I hadn't had a chance, like a one-on-one with Doc. Like, wouldn't you like to have time to kind of get into Doc Rock's brain as you see this explosion happen for him in just a couple of months? Doc, when you got the call, and I don't know all other places you've been, maybe it was Twit that you say, like when you got the call to be on that show, and then you're doing live. You were on with L'Oreal. Did I say her name right? Live streaming pros.
L'Oreal, yeah.
Yeah, and there was, a month or so leading into December where everybody wanted Doc Rock on their live. What was that feeling September, like to be so? It was September. What was that like to be in such demand?
It was crazy. It was straight up crazy. I BS you not. Like, that was crazy. First of all, September is my birthday month. And it was completely like random, but like, Leo's assistant hit me up and was like, can you do this? Because, the Apple announcement was coming out. And I was like, yeah, bet. And then he was like, oh, yeah, Renee going to be out in Cali for a minute. So we need you to do the Wednesday show and the Sunday show. And I'm like, all right, bet. And then like another week goes by. He's like, okay, we're going to rewrap this. Can you come back? Okay, bet. And then, L'Oreal was like, okay, we're going to have you and Renee. Now that Renee is back, we need you guys to speak on it. Okay, bet. It's like, it was a trip, and I also did with Tim's son, and I did a show with Chris and Jim. I was on their show. I was on the show with Mary Faye Bryant, like a couple of other different, like sort of high profile LinkedIn type cats. And it was just a trip to me, and been so busy But at the same token, it helped me realize like what Stephanie was telling me all along, that you need to put your show at a time frame where people know where to find you, or at least even when to expect a replay. Like that was big. And again, like I'm as far as this go round, I'm new to where we are, and I'm catching up. Like all of the tech stuff in the world doesn't help you put together a show. It just doesn't.
That's true.
And I still have a hard time like keeping the bus on the road, man, because the kids be in the back jumping around doing all kind of craziness, right? India, Lemuel. so like, yeah, it's gonna be a minute before I get it polished. I want to be as polished as Kurt, man. Kurt,
Oh my
woo!
God, Kurt, he's
that
on
brother
another
throw
level,
together
brother.
a show.
Oh my goodness, great show.
I don't do envy or nothing like that. It's just pure love, man. I just love what Kurt does, and I'm like, man, we could do a whole show just with Kurt teaching you how to like, keep it together. You know what I mean? Like I can do interviews. You can do interviews. You're a great interviewer, right? Like I can do interviews. I've done hundreds of them with some celebrities in the world. Interviewing Coolio, I want to reach across the desk and snatch a knot in his butt because he can't stay focused for 2 seconds. But like that Kurt dude, man, whoo, he's a heater right there. That's a talented brother.
How it all works, brother. He explains it, and he has a very polished show, and I think that's where we're gonna see so much more content coming, just like that. Yeah. It's just like that, and I want to have a polished show like that. I'm thinking of ways to continue. I like free forming it because I guess that's the radio part of me.
Yeah, me too.
It doesn't have to be so nice. It doesn't have to be, the overlays don't have to be so, we don't have to have them on all the time because it's really about the conversation we're having. But man,
I think it's hard for me though, and you. I think it's hard for us to realize that other people don't necessarily haven't learned, let's say, the ability to just flow. Gotcha. Like, what the Tinkerbell moments are? So I'm doing a wedding, and the coordinator comes up and be like, "Oh, we had a small mishap. Can you stall?" Yeah, how long? Oh, 20 minutes. I don't even blink. I'll say, "Okay, got you." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They go, "Oh, most of the MCs we work with, they start freaking out like they don't know what to do." I go, "No, I'm good. We got this." So I'll just walk around to table and, go to each like random weird uncle or auntie, and then, like flirt with the really old aunties that still be trying to cute with their hat. They got the little little chain and stuff. Go up there and be like, "Hey, you came with somebody?" And she'd be like, "Yeah, him." And then just go stand between like him and her and be like, "So auntie, one time he go to the bathroom, can you come and see me at the DJ booth?"
That's funny.
It's like random weird stuff. And everyone's having a blast. Like, I love those moments because you took the stress away from the couple. You took the stress away from the coordinator. You got a chance to make everybody have fun, right? As a MC or public speaker, when I get, first sit up there, I look around the room, find out who's the one uncle or auntie or even little kid that I'm going to pick on the entire time. Like they're going to become it, just stuff you learn from watching stand-up comedy and that,
Dude.
So I love those moments. Or, we're doing a concert and Casey and JoJo is 2 hours late, and you standing in the middle of an auditorium with 10,000 people, like waiting to see their act and to be able to just hold them together.
Right.
Because, hip-hop artists can't show up when they supposed to. Like, I love those moments because if you can pull it off, it's dope. And you know what? It hurts when I'm sitting in the audience and I'm watching the dude struggle. I'm like, man, I kind of just want to run up there and help him, but I can't because they don't know me from Adam.
So what I've learned, Doc, over the years of doing hosting for myself, because it's so funny you would say that. When I was young, I would always try to do my stand-up or to do funny stuff first. Like, I'm gonna take my time. You're gonna know Strick is here. Like, Strick is in the building. And then as I had more time and experience, I decided to wait because it's something that you just said that always happen. They always have a technical difficulty somewhere in the show, and they're going to be like, "Here is your turn. Can you do this?" And all you have to do is be ready. Like I was waiting on it. So I've learned, hey, first, I want to be a host that, is all about the people. They want to see the guests. They don't want to see the host. But when something happens, they're like, man, that guy was funny. You got to be ready to go. You got your 5-minute stand up, or like you said, you've already identified somebody in the audience that you're going to clown on because of what they wear. And for me, it would always be in a tasteful way, but you're going to get it. And you have to be ready for that spontaneously. And that was one of the things that I would always do. I learned to just wait. Like it doesn't, like just because they announce my name doesn't mean I need to do 5-minute stand up. Let me go and do something real quick, identify who I am and get everybody ready. Now it's time for the first act to come up. They're the openers, not me.
Yes. And even when they're breaking the ice or doing the housekeeping rules, I'll just say really subtle, dumb stuff to let them know it's about to get lit without purposely being funny. Like, the bathroom's over here, the men's bathroom is over here, and the smoking area is in Waianae. We'll be in Waikiki. There's 28 miles between Waikiki and Waianae, but if you get caught smoking in a bad smoking area in Waikiki, you're going to jail that night. So it's kind of a thing, like everyone gets it, but some people don't catch it right away. The other fun stuff is like, we get a lot of multicultural weddings here. So you have the uncle that came, say, all the way in from Japan, right? And then I'll go to them and I'll ask them a complicated question that requires a decent answer. And then they're like, And I say, oh, no, so that's okay. You can say it in Japanese and I'll translate. And they go, okay. So they spit out this long answer. And at the end, I just look at everybody else and they be like, you guys know what he said? What? He said cheese. They're like, what?
Funny.
That was a long explanation. And then I look at the guy and I'll say what I say or none. They can kind of understand that. And then the guy's laughing because I just gave the tiniest answer for this like elegant answer that he had, or the toast. When they do the toast, he said that was Japanese for everybody drink,
right,
and then and leave them stuck, like not knowing what the heck he actually said, just random cool stuff like that. And I think that helps in live streams, right? You guys notice. I mentioned this in something today. We were talking about like remembering folks' names because I think it's very important, right? And I Fulgens and maybe Lim were talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I remember everybody's name because I make it up. I have no problem remembering your name. I don't call nobody by their real name hardly. I call everybody something different, and that helps me remember who you are, especially if I gave it to you based off of your personality. But also, like it or not, you're going to remember me because you're going to be like, that's the dude that insisted on calling me something that wasn't my name. Harlan Merriweather Strickland.
Right. I don't know what that is, but I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? So, but it helps. It helps, and I do. Some things similar to that, making names for people because it does help.
It's the distinguished gentleman from Alabama. That's what came to my head when you say from Bama, and I'm like Strick. I'm like, cool. Harlan Merriweather Strickland III. That is my distinguished brother from Alabama, and now forever it's in my head.
It's stuck. So I got Kirk is in Alabama, not from Alabama, but he's in Huntsville. It's like 2 hours away from me. And so is Anthony. Anthony Kearns he's in Huntsville as well. So we're planning like when we can to kind of hang out, get together, and do some networking.
Tommy got an iron bowl.
And Tommy, Tommy said earlier to call him, so I'm definitely going to call him so I can have Tommy do some magic on my show. Like it's going to make people go crazy. But Mr. Riley's World is hanging out with us tonight. Kathy Hester.
There's nobody in the group in California except him and Kelly.
Right. So shouts out to Kathy for being in the comments tonight. Who did I miss? Preston. So blessings to Be Love Inc. Everybody's talking to each other. So definitely shouts out to you guys being a part of the conversation tonight. And I don't know, we talked about Fulgens, but man, I thought he was on David Blackman's show. Like David's a part of that live streaming pros as well? Am I
Dave
right?
just Dave. Dave just Dave. He just out there and he is a freaking gorgeous human being. He is such a nice guy. We had a great conversation the other day, and yeah, Dave is funny, man. He's the raging Cajun. He's the one that be busting LSU and us Go Tigers all the time. Wow. That's David Blackman. Yeah,
that's what's up.
He's a man. Love that cat.
Up. So I have to ask you this, Doc, and I'm hoping
Yes, sir.
that I really like that you see it. Like, I want to know what's the next big thing, like hot off the press. You haven't shared this with anybody else, but when it goes down, it's gonna be crazy. Like, I need an Strick City exclusive drop, like right now.
So I have 2 courses in the works. And I kind of basically talked about it, but I haven't really got into the details about turning in like a membership site for the people that want to just have like a little bit like deeper access or more training, like under the wing type of training, right? If you want to be the next like Delgado Streamlight Solutions person like India, yeah, I'm kind of launching those stuff very soon. And you know, it's weird, but Marshall got me on something today, man. We had a great conversation about him getting to 100,000 this year. I would love to go from like starting the year out at 7,000 and ending the year out at 100,000 because of actually putting in value and deep oriented value community building content, not some weird sub for sub, not some random one viral video that people watch and they don't watch anything else. I mean, like literally putting in the level of work it takes to get to 100 in a year.
That's what's up.
That's what I'm on.
That's incredible, man. I think that's doable for you. I also think that just from me to you, like once you get into those crazy numbers like that, you get into a group of people that gets to be untouchable. And I think where you are right now, the people that are running, that have those numbers, that are reaching down and say, hey, Doc, I need you to come on up here. You know why? Because you add value. And then the people that are, you know, the 200 or 300 subscribers, there's like, hey, Doc, like you're way up there, but you still bring value to those folks as well. So having like really being thoughtful on, you know, you got to monetize your channel. YouTube has, you know, like when you get views, you get paid.
And yeah, well, you know, it's weird because if it was up to me, maybe I wish that wouldn't have to be a thing, but it has to be a thing because in order to put in that level of time, I got to be able to do all of this, right? This isn't magic, you know. You just don't wake up one day and all electricity works and everything like that. So I think therein lies the catch-22, but it's life, and I think people understand that. And as long as you're genuine with them and let them know, but then also imagine if Marshall and I are able to get to like 100K, right? Miss D will be right there with us. What does that mean for y'all who are right there? Like everybody, like I was joking. And I posted an image of Cheers the other day, but right now that's Let's Get Live crew.
Right.
Like you want to go where everybody knows your name. So there'll be like 2-3 years from now when the group is sitting at like 500,000 deep and people will be like, hey, why don't you reach out to one of the originals? They know. And then you guys will be like, yeah, I'm an original, like the Brant Collins of the world and the Kathy Hesters of the world. And, you know, Luis, Mr. Camera Junkie and J.R. Riley and Sammy Cool. Sammy will be 21. You know, we get to get him his first drink. You know, he's sitting around Elaine Dempsey, ED. Look, she's like, man, I love me some Elaine. Marga, who was shy and didn't even want to come in. And now she's the queen. You know what I'm saying? Like when someone is like, hey, reach out to talk to one of the originals, they know. And that group would be proud. It's like, yo, I was here from the gate, fam.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something different about knowing that you are foundational. And everybody that's in our group right now is mad foundational. Y'all got concrete dust in your ear with that foundation.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
You know what I mean?
We got something to help push you to, Doc. 100,000.
Yeah, y'all are pushing me, man. Y'all don't know it, but y'all inspire me. Y'all push me. Y'all make me want to do better. And it's a corny statement, and I think I got it from Les Brown, but I bring it up all the time. We will all do better when we all do better.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
And it requires action. It requires action, bro.
Man, that's a great way to kind of put a period on the interview tonight. Doc, you don't know how much I appreciate your time today. Like for you to be like, I mean, it's real simple. Like you've hopped on a couple times with me. Like we've been able to do some stuff for Let's Get Live, but for you to come on Strick City Live and to be a part of this and, you know, to be seen by my audience and along with everybody from Let's Get Live being a part of it, man, it means a whole lot to me. I really want you to know that.
Thank you, bro. It means a lot to me, and I can't wait to have you on. I'm trying to get my show more oriented where I'm probably trying to get Tuesday to be a little bit more with the interviews and a very specific task, and let Saturday be still the question and answer type joint.
Gotcha.
So like, I definitely want to have you on, have Keith, Kurt, you know, even like Mr. Riley, like his mission is dope, bro. You know, it's funny. Like we have some really beautiful people in our group.
We do.
You know, only like a handful of them are handsome, like Fulgens and Chris Will. But
That's
I mean,
funny.
you know, the rest of us, I mean, beautiful from the inside type folk. You know, did you guys know that Glola was a like rocket engineer or whatever the heck the word is? She said it, but I forgot. Like
no
aeronautical engineer.
No way.
Yeah. Y'all think she just be out here with the machete, but yeah, she's like engineer type borderline genius.
Wow.
Like that's maddening, bro.
Man, big shouts out to her. That's cool. That's really cool.
You know what I'm saying? Like we got some heaters. Like we have somebody in our group who's about to become a legit doctor and nobody knows. It's a secret. It's gonna come out when it come out. But we got some beautiful folk in our group. So it's coming, man. It's coming. So I'm like about everybody working, set your intentions, let people know what you need, accountability partners. We got 328 of us. You know, whatever
328 already?
Yeah, something like that. Something in that neighborhood.
Wow.
But you know what I'm saying? Like it's there. So when you walk through Target and you see the Be Love Inc. head wrap, you know, on the rack, and you're like, yo, these girls done brought this product to fruition because we got together and we helped them, you know, get their first product out, and they got lovely patterns, and they just happened to make a purple one for the sisters that's, you know, chubby with a beard.
That's funny.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's gonna feel warm, bro. That's gonna give you the warm and fuzzies. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Let's just keep getting it, and whatever you need, you know I'm there.
That's what's up. What do you say? Let's glow up together.
Yeah, let's glow up together.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Hold what you got, Doc. Y'all don't know what it's like to have people that you meet that inspire you. And this conversation tonight was an inspiring conversation to me. So I'm hoping you felt what I feel right now, and you can be thinking in your mind creatively, like, what can I create? Like, how can, even if I'm creating now, how can I do that better? And if you want to know how to do it better, of course, go to Doc Rock's page on YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell for notification, and consume all of his content. And I guarantee by the end of it, you'll be a better creator. Y'all know who I am. I'm Strick, man. And this has been a great night tonight. I thank you guys so very much for all of your support and supporting me. Of course, you can always get me Tuesday, Thursday nights. I'm going to be right here rocking just for you. And I love this.